The man accidentally dropped an egg, and in an instant, it was cooked on the ground. Before he could react, it seemed as if something was about to erupt from the earth. He quickly got in his car and fled the scene. He hadn't gone far when, in the next second, a massive flame spewed from the ground, instantly forming a huge fire tornado that swallowed all the surrounding houses. The man had to slam on the gas, just in the nick of time. He escaped before the flames consumed him. He quickly got out of his car and looked back. The blaze had already engulfed the entire city. However, this crisis was just beginning. At the same time, an astonishing sight appeared on a beach in Brazil. A powerful cold air mass emerged, instantly freezing the waves and then spreading toward the land. People on the beach tried to escape, but it was already too late. Those who ran slowly were instantly frozen into ice sculptures. Even more terrifying, a high-altitude plane was not spared. It was frozen solid and then fell to the ground, shattering into pieces. Simultaneously, multiple super dust tornadoes broke out in India, and giant hailstones fell in Japan. It was as if the apocalypse had arrived on this day all at once. Seeing that humanity was on the verge of extinction, the United Nations immediately held an emergency meeting. After an investigation, it was discovered that these terrifying natural disasters were caused by humanity itself. It turned out that years of rampant environmental destruction by humans had led to a continuous chain of natural disasters. So, countries worldwide began to use all their resources, and finally developed a weather control system. With this system, humanity could easily control the weather with the press of a button. Unexpectedly, a few satellites suddenly went out of control, bringing humanity to the brink of ruin. At first, everyone thought it was a machine malfunction, but then another accident occurred at the space station. The astronaut in charge of repairing the satellite was sucked into space. The high-level officials suddenly realized that the weather satellite network system might be compromised. Shockwave from the meteorite impact reached the 38th floor. Lyra was thrown under a table, so she crawled under the bed to get her phone. A second shockwave hit. Lyra quickly ran to the hallway, trembling as she put on her shoes. The building was shaking violently and could collapse at any moment, so she quickly opened the door. Lyra got to the corridor, which was filled with the screams of people trying to escape. Lyra warned them not to take the elevator, but they ignored her. Ultimately, all 5 of them died. Lyra escaped to an outdoor balcony and saw the scene outside. Before another shockwave hit, she didn't hesitate and rushed into the emergency stairwell. The stairwell was packed with people fleeing. Seeing the crowded staircase, she went directly to the second-floor balcony. Finally, she chose to climb over the railing and jump straight down from the second floor. A meteorite streaked past overhead, and the enormous shockwave filled her with a sense of hopelessness. Lyra didn't know where to run. Suddenly, a pedestrian stopped her, pleading with her to help rescue his infant trapped in a car. Lyra's boyfriend suddenly appeared. After rescuing the child, her boyfriend pulled her and quickly looked for cover. The two ran to a building. As they talked, cracks in the wall spread all the way to the roof, and debris rained down on them. The elderly couple felt guilty, so they got out of their car to check on her injuries. They then helped Lyra into the car. After driving for a while, Lyra woke up in the car, but outside, meteorites were still crashing down. Suddenly, the road was blocked both in front of and behind them, so they had no choice but to abandon the car and run. The old woman was still looking for her pet cat, but Lyra didn't have time for that. She decisively turned and ran toward a store. However, a huge shockwave swept over, and Lyra was unable to escape. Spider-Man wanted to get rid of the symbiote suit, but it had already seeped into his body. No matter how hard he tried, the suit would quickly regenerate. Fortunately, during his struggle, he crashed into a church bell. The ringing caused the symbiote intense pain, so Spider-Man took the opportunity to tear the suit off. Despite the agonizing pain, he couldn't stop. The echoing sound of Peter's painful screams filled the empty church. The bell ringing, however, caught Eddie's attention. He followed the sound and looked up to see Spider-Man breaking free from the symbiote's grasp. At that moment, as the bell continued to ring, the symbiote's power weakened. It detached from Peter's body and crawled down the stairs, looking for a new host. Luckily, Eddie happened to be in the church. A drop of the symbiote landed on him, and he tried to shake it off, but the symbiote gave him no chance. It quickly invaded and took control of his body. Just as Spider-Man finally got rid of the symbiote, Eddie's body was gradually being consumed by it. Eddie was panicked at first, but he soon couldn't resist the symbiote's power. Just like that, a classic Venom host was born. After getting rid of the symbiote, Spider-Man's personality returned to normal. But what he didn't know was that Eddie had found Spider-Man's enemy, the Sandman, and they decided to team up to take on Spider-Man. That same night, Venom and the Sandman kidnapped Spider-Man's girlfriend, Mary Jane. Parker had to put on his suit to deal with the situation. He quickly rushed to the scene, but this time, he had to face two powerful enemies. Both Venom and the Sandman were formidable foes.
Hey, Parker.